All right, here we go. We're going to begin with the body of light, the purification with light meditation. This is a visualization meditation. And we've done these before. 9 rounds breathing exercise would be, you could call that a visualization meditation as well, because you're visualizing the subtle channels or imaginary channels within your body and how the energy and breath passes through them. So this one is similar. It's called Purification with Light Meditation. So again, just begin calming your mind. I'll give you a little interval of silence just so that you can work with that yourselves. Now the mind begins to settle and comes to a state of deeper focus and concentration. And you feel more ready to engage in meditation. How long should calming the mind take? Well, one of the teachers, Venerable George, who's teaching a class, says 21 breaths. But he's talking about advanced practiced meditators. So really what it means is you just take the time you need in order to calm your mind. Now, the second part of our meditation session is the motivation. Here we try and create an altruistic motivation for the meditation session. We also think about what our aims are and try and develop some resolve and energy to put into our meditation. Again, a meditation is a form of directed practice. So you can think that you're meditating not just for your own individual benefit, but you're taking the time now to meditate and develop your mind, to become a wiser and kinder person, which will definitely benefit you and all those around you. Here is the main body of the purification with light meditation. Start by focusing your attention on your breath. Breathe normally and naturally, focusing on the complete duration of each inhalation and exhalation. Remember that the breath is soft and natural and through the nose. As you exhale, imagine that all your negative energy, past mistakes, distorted conceptions, disturbed emotions, discomfort, even pain, leave your body with the breath. Visualize all this negative energy as black smoke. Send it out into space where it disappears completely. As you breathe out these negativities again and again, feel confident that you are gradually freeing yourself from all traces of negativities, faults, sicknesses, or delusions. Now, as you inhale, imagine that all the positive energy in the universe enters your body with the breath in the form of pure, radiant white light. You can imagine the sunlight from a beautiful spring day as filling your body as you inhale. Visualize this light flowing through your nostrils, down into your body, and into every part and corner of your body, pervading every cell, every atom, every organ. Your body gradually becomes clearer and clearer, lighter and lighter, more and more transparent. As you do this, you feel more and more relaxed, light and blissful. Concentrate on this experience, breathing out the black smoke of your problems, illnesses, and negative energies, and breathing in the white light of purifying, blissful, good energy. When you're distracted by feelings or sensations, or other input from the environment, simply observe these distractions without reacting or getting involved. Imagine that they too transform into black smoke, and then breathe them out into oblivion. That's the end of the main meditation. And now we dedicate. We dedicate all our positive energy that we've created through the practice of mindful meditation. That was our first visualization meditation for this evening. Anyone have any comments or experience any difficulties? That's wonderful. So we're going to segue right into another meditation. But before we do that, I'd suggest just, maybe squirming around and, making sure that you're comfortable and, your cushions are set up right, just like release a little bit of physical energy. You do stretching, do a downward dog if you wanted to. Maybe a half moon. Not me. All right. And so again, just get comfortable and we'll do another meditation. This one is an analytical meditation. So we're going to calm our mind, and then we're going to go through a guided meditation where we just follow thoughts, a train of thought. It's called the Equanimity Meditation. So again, just take a moment or two just to calm your mind using a breathing meditation, whatever you prefer. Now, this is the Equanimity Meditation. And here we set our motivation very specifically to generate the strong intention to do this meditation in order to overcome self-centered bias and judgments, and to develop a mind of perfect equanimity and balance toward others. Now we begin the main meditation. And in this one, we imagine in the space in front of you, 3 people, someone you like, someone you dislike, and someone you feel indifferent toward. Maybe it's just a stranger that you see at your workplace or just as you go about your day. Keep these 3 images in your mind throughout the meditation. First, focus on your friend. Allow your feelings for that person to arise strongly. Feel your conviction that this person is definitely and truly a friend. That is, a person who is good to you and fulfills your needs and wishes. Also, feel how you really want this person to be happy. Identify yourself with these good feelings. Now shift your attention to your enemy, the person you dislike and who is not kind to you, who does not satisfy your needs, who annoys you and makes you angry, who hurts you. Regard this person carefully. Look carefully at the feelings you have about this person. Finally, shift your attention to the so-called stranger, the person you just barely know, but whom you neither like nor dislike. Look carefully at that person and note carefully your feelings of indifference. Now consider and recognize that the nature of your relationships with each of these three people and the labels you've put on them are based solely on what they do or don't do for you at this point in time. Think of people who have been your friend but then became your enemy, and vice versa. Or strangers who became friends or enemies. Each of these labels is temporary and impermanent, just what the situation is at the current time. Now move your attention back to your friend and imagine a situation that would cause the friendship to end. Imagine your friend turning against you. Experience the resentment and anger and hurt that you would feel in such a situation. Do you still feel warm, friendly feelings towards that person? Do you still wish him or her well? Want that person to be happy? Where is your friend now? Think to yourself that there is no sound reason for feeling kind and loving toward only the friend of this moment. Relationships have changed in the past and will continue to change. Today's friend can become tomorrow's enemy. Now move your attention to the present enemy. Imagine a situation in which you could be drawn together and become close. A common interest, a word of praise or kindness. Look at that person and your feelings toward them very carefully. Are your feelings softening, becoming warmer? You can learn to feel warmly towards your enemies. This has happened before and will happen again. Why do we hold so strongly to the concept that this person is definitely the enemy? Now move your attention to the stranger. Imagine how one act of kindness or anger from this person could immediately turn him or her into a friend or an enemy, respectively. There is no inherent definite stranger there. No sound reason for the feelings of indifference that we hold on to. Maintain your awareness of these three people in front of you. Think about the fragile impermanence of all of these relationships. Your friend, enemy, and stranger all want happiness just as much as you do. In this respect, we're all equal. Also, everyone is equal in having the potential to develop their minds to the fullest extent and to achieve ultimate clarity and compassion. Often the differences that we see in people are superficial, based only on our mistaken and narrow, self-centered views. It's possible, isn't it, that everyone is equal in deserving our care and compassion. None of this means that we should not discriminate at all. On a practical level, our ability to distinguish between actions and individuals is necessary. Naturally, we feel closer to some people and are wise to keep our distance from others. This is not in any way contradictory to the meditation. The point of this meditation is to develop equal concern, equal regard for everyone, for their well-being, whether they help or harm us at this point in time, and to see that the labels that we put on others are often arbitrary, mistaken, and definitely very changeable. Well, that completes the main meditation. And for a final dedication, we'll just dedicate our positive energy and any insights we had while we did this meditation to our own well-being, our own progress, and the well-being and happiness of all living beings. Did anyone have any questions about that particular meditation? Or maybe did any kind of emotions arise? You know, whether you chose a friend and then imagine them turning into an enemy or vice versa? Okay. What I'd like to suggest now is we just take a 5-minute break. We've done 2 meditations. So we'll get back into some instruction and then a break after that, and then a couple more meditations. So I will just start a little clock. Yeah, just feel free to get up and relax, move around, glass of water, look outside, whatever. Just don't, I would suggest you don't look at a device. That's the only proviso. Welcome back, everyone, and I hope you had a nice break. I don't know if you ran around the house or what, but glad to have you back. Let's see. And thank you, Karen, for your kind words. I appreciate that. That's the whole idea. Let's see. Now we'll just do a quick bit of instruction. We'll talk about the 4 parts of the meditation session. You've heard incessantly from me about them. And you'll notice that all of the handouts the meditations are structured into 4 parts. Now, you don't have to do this. I mean, your meditation is your meditation, whatever works best for you. But there's reasons why those parts are emphasized in these meditations. The first one is calming the mind. That's where you relax the body and you make your mind clear, calm, attentive, and present. That's basically getting onto the cushion, so to speak. And it's okay if that's as far as you get. If you are experiencing a lot of distraction or just beginning to get into meditation, that's okay. That's a great way to start, and then have an enjoyable meditative experience, and then create the habit, the desire to get back on the meditative seat again. The second one is motivation, and this is where we generate the energy, the resolve, and also the direction for our session. In Lothian's great example of a television, this here is where we decide not to watch the static or the test pattern, and not to just flip incessantly through the hundreds or thousands or infinite number of channels of thoughts in our mind. There's the actual meditation, and we've done several of those. And then finally, there's the dedication, where we appreciate and rejoice in the positive energy and insight that we create in this session. And I've mentioned this before. It's important to end with a good feeling, because we want to have a positive memory of our meditation session, even if we did have some difficult thoughts or challenging analysis. A good example is the last meditation we just did. Even though we might have to work a little bit hard and there might be some struggle, some distraction, frustration, whatever, at the end, we want to end with a positive feeling so that we'll be motivated to get back on the cushion. So I'm going to focus on the second and the fourth, that is motivation and dedication. Because if we have motivation and dedication, and we can actually develop them, we can increase our motivation and the positive benefits of dedication. If we can do that, then we can strengthen our meditation habit and our meditation practice. Motivation in a meditation session, well, there's kind of a traditional view here. And the traditional view is the end result, positive or negative, of any action, that is speech, body, any physical action, even any thought, all of it is dependent on the original intention or motivation. If the motivation is good, that is focused on the positive benefit for yourself or others, the traditional view is this will eventually result in a positive outcome for you as well. And the greater the intended benefit in the motivation, the greater the positive outcome. So you might have been wondering, well, when we meditate and we motivate, why do we always, naturally we're meditating for our own benefit, but why do we also think about others? How others will benefit when we make ourselves kinder and wiser through meditation? Well, there's the reason for you, because it's believed traditionally that the greater your intended benefit in the motivation, the greater the positive outcome that will eventually accrue to you. And one way to create this positive energy in the meditation session is to think about the advantages of meditating and the disadvantages of not meditating. Well, if you've had a break, if you've stopped meditating for an extended period, or if you're just getting into meditation, you can compare how you felt during those times and then with what you experienced through meditation. And some of those advantages, I'm sure you can come up with your own customized advantages, but they could be greater concentration in focus in whatever you do. So our wild, distracted, uncontrolled, and problem-causing thoughts are reduced. Another benefit might be more awareness and calm in our mind. When we have those, they give us the space to make better decisions in the moment and just generally give us greater happiness and peace. And so keeping these benefits in mind gives a sense of direction for your session. You know where you're going. You know, maybe it won't be, maybe that's the next session won't be a huge breakthrough, but over time, you'll see these benefits begin to snowball. So you think about the advantages of meditating and any disadvantages of not. And as you learn about the advantages of meditation, you become more and more experienced in it. Your trust and faith in the practice increases. When I say here, I mean faith based on reason, faith based on your own experience. So both of these, trust and faith, are not blind faith, but they're just based on your own experimentations. Another thing you can do is to find role models who you observe that have benefited from meditation, and you want to be like them in some way. There's certainly a whole bunch of role models that you can see on the YouTube videos from the center, or just anyone in your experience, in your acquaintance, who you think might have been a little bit of a better person through some of their practices like these. So when you run those things through your mind, you begin to feel an aspiration to have the benefits of meditation for yourself. You've seen how they've helped others, you've had experience, you're gaining more and more experience with how it helps you. And so you want to continue the practice. And then with that aspiration, you become more enthusiastic and determined in your meditation practice. And that's kind of like a positive feedback loop that strengthens your meditation practice, which brings more and more benefit to you. So that's why motivation is critical in a meditation session, to help you begin, to grow, and then to solidify a meditation practice. And then at the end of a meditation session, we always dedicate. And this is where we appreciate and rejoice in our work during the session. And in the traditional view, the positive energy of the meditation is then sealed by this dedication. And it's actually directed so it ripens into a beneficial outcome for oneself and others. This is the same idea as we saw in the prior stage, that is motivation, is that by taking this positive energy, we seal it, direct it, it's like a positive intention. And therefore, by having these positive intentions, even just in our mind, that we're going to experience some benefit. Who knows what it'll be? No one can tell you exactly. No one on this earth can tell you exactly what it'll be. But it's something that I think in our experience we found. And you can even check up yourself. You know, when you have a positive mental frame and outlook, things seem to go easier. That's what I've found. And I'll leave it at that. And then an example of a good dedication, and we've done this a few times, is where we rejoice in the positive energy and insights that we've created during our meditation and dedicate them to the well-being and happiness of ourselves and others. So what you're doing is you're recalling the positive and positive energy and insight that you created during your meditation practice. And then you're identifying the progress you made towards the worthwhile goal of becoming a better person to benefit yourself and those around you. And then what you do is you just kind of step back a little bit and you just savor that feeling and just savor the feeling, just like the emotional state, and just let it sink in for a moment. You don't have to do any or all of them, all of those parts of the meditation session in your meditation session. You can just do them, you can do them informally or just like touch on them with your mind. But I hope I've laid out the reasons why they could be helpful to you. I think I'll just pause here for a moment and ask if there's any questions about that. Otherwise, I'll just, I can go on. Excellent. All right. Well, before the break, I mentioned this. And so this instruction is about choosing a meditation practice. And well, we know there's different types of meditation. There's concentration and mindfulness. So of course, the concentration meditation is going to reinforce or rely on the skill of concentration. And same for mindfulness. A mindfulness meditation is going to rely more on the mindfulness skill. There's also visualization. We did that with the very first meditation tonight. There's analytical, and that's where we walk through an interesting reasoning about friend, enemy, and stranger. And we sort of reasoned a little bit about, well, are those roles intrinsic to those people? And if we met them 1,000 different times in 1,000 different lives, would we always be enemies? Could we maybe be friends? Would they just be strangers? So that's an example of an analytical meditation. So those 4 types you can choose. There's an infinite number. You can choose any one of those 4 types depending on what you enjoy, what you want to accomplish, where you think you might want to help improve yourself. So of course, you would choose a concentration meditation if you wanted to improve your focus, your ability just to gently dwell, to rest in non-distraction on your chosen object, whatever that is. It could be a work task, it could be one of these meditations, it could be the nature of your mind. But if we want to have a steady and intense focus in our daily lives, that's what we look at, is a concentration meditation. Examples are counting the breath and watching the breath. And they're also great for relaxing as well, for preparing, calming the mind. The second type of meditation is mindfulness, and that is a cool background awareness where you're observing, you're monitoring, you're noticing certain things that are going on in your mind, and yet you're accepting them. You might even tune them and then return to the object. So if we want to have a calm, cool awareness so that we can be happy and relaxed and make better choices for ourselves in daily life, that's where we might want to consider a mindfulness meditation. So mindfulness meditations emphasize awareness of our meditation process, or off of the meditation seat, our mental activity and our mental state, and what kind of thoughts are going through our minds. And examples of those are the bare awareness meditation and the meditation on the mind like the sky. So that's concentration and mindfulness. And then there's visualization. Well, why would you want to focus on visualization meditations? Well, Sometimes they're used to increase the positive qualities and aspects of our mind and make them easier to access when we need them or we want to have them. So by visualizing a certain mental state, like the first meditation we did tonight, where we just visualize pure air coming in and all of our distractions and difficulties going out as black smoke, that takes us to a certain mental state of relaxation and calmness and quietude. And as we repeat that on the meditation seat, it becomes more familiar, almost habitual. So if we need to, say we're driving in heavy traffic or maybe having a difficult concentration, it's a lot easier for us to bring ourselves back to that mental state, calmness, calmness and quietude and open receptivity. So that's an example of what visualization would do for you. And meditations where we emphasize this are the 9 rounds breathing meditation. That's where we visualize the subtle channels within the body, but also get a profound clearing and calming effect. And then there's the body of light meditation, where we visualize our physical body turning into one made of pure light. We'll do that at the end of the session tonight. The fourth one is analytical. And that's where we use reason and analysis to become familiar with and develop good qualities, that is, to transform our thinking in order to help ourselves and others. So meditations where we use reason and analysis, those are transforming negative experiences into positive. And we're going to do that. And the Equanimity Meditation, which we just did, which teaches us to see all others, friends, enemies, strangers, at the same fundamental level. And to also give us a little bit of space from the labels that we naturally, almost unconsciously apply to people. So it gives us a little bit of space from those labels to maybe give us a broader scope of interaction. Now, of course, no meditation is just perfectly in one of these categories. They often fit into 2 or more categories. And if you do them, they can bring the benefits of both of those categories. For example, transforming negative experiences into positive is an analytical meditation, but we also use visualization as well. And I would think maybe 9 rounds that would be another example, is while we visualize the subtle channels and the purifying activity of breathing, we also have to concentrate quite a bit in order to maintain those visualizations and stay on the kind of the purification activity. So 9 rounds would have, I guess, aspects of concentration and visualization, and also, maybe a purification. That's not listed as a category, but there are definitely purification meditations. So that's a little bit of guidance on how you would look at a particular meditation. It doesn't have to be any of the ones in the handout. Maybe you like a meditation app, or you run across some other teachers or other texts on meditation. You can use those simple definitions and figure out, oh, okay, I see. This is an analytical meditation. This is going to help me with, my thought processes, and then kind of improving my own personal characteristics and so on. So that's a little bit of advice on the particular meditations that you can choose. And so it's like an artist palette. You can choose whatever colors you want to put on your paintbrush for the meditation session. We'll talk a little bit about establishing a long-term meditation practice now. And just a few simple things. Start with short meditations and build up slowly. And try and balance relaxation and effort. Begin with the relaxation, especially if you're having trouble settling your mind or remaining on the meditation seat. But try and balance relaxation and effort. By having effort, you can make progress. So try not to have expectations for a particular session or a timetable for accomplishments. Just stick to the practice. So in our normal everyday thoughts in our mind, we're going to have good days and bad days and, well, neutral days. We're going to have positive thoughts, helpful thoughts. We're going to have difficult, unhelpful thoughts, or just neutral thoughts. And it's the same in a meditation session. They will naturally arise. The mind is, in some ways, it's like water, in that if we give it the right conditions, it will settle down into completely still. But also, even with the slightest perturbation, it will respond to that and then move around. Maybe you'll see ripples or waves or splashes, something like that. And so in that way, we should be appreciative of that. And that it's really kind of the environment we make with our preparations, our thoughts, our practices that help us calm the water of the mind so that it's clear and still. Where I was going with that is we will experience, no doubt, frustrations, difficulties, difficult, challenging emotions. This is natural. So we want to be non-judgmental, accepting, and engaged, and even curious about our experiences as we develop our meditation habit. Curious because no matter what the underlying reaction or label that we put on our thoughts, positive, negative, challenging, difficult, pleasurable, that we can still be curious about it, almost like a scientist or a tourist watching passersby. We can still be curious about it. And that means that gives us distance. And so it makes it easier to handle our difficult thoughts, but also makes them interesting in and of themselves. Say, what is that saying about me? That thought that keeps coming up. Is that truly a helpful thought? What are the reasons why I keep coming back to that thought? So as we are non-judgmental, accepting, engaged, and curious, we also remember that in order to establish any habit, it takes at least a month of consistent practice. Sometimes it can take as long as a year. So that just gives us a little bit of scope as to, how long developing a meditation practice will take, turning it into a habit. Finally, just bring enjoyment to your daily meditation practice, where you look forward to sitting as a source of peaceful calm, positive energy, and refreshment. So just to end, just end with that in mind, and just keep that in mind, and then that'll help you return to the seat every day. I said, I think it was last week, that even 5 minutes of meditation a day will yield benefits, but that's each and every day. So consistent practice, critical. Any questions at this point? Well, I'll just end up with benefits of meditation, just to prompt you. This is just my laundry list of benefits. You're encouraged to look at them, and then maybe there's others that you come up with yourself that I haven't even thought of. Just whatever you can look to as developing a positive energy to do the practice. So benefits of meditation, well, definitely offers a temporary release from the stress and confusion of modern life. So how that happens is learning to calm the mind quickly and effectively. For example, just using the simple breathing techniques. Those techniques bring us into the present. They generally just relax us physically and mentally, and therefore that reduces stress. We get familiar with those simple and easy techniques on the meditation seat, and we're able to use them just about anywhere. Another benefit of meditation is the skills that we develop in meditation, especially concentration and mindfulness, are helpful in meditation, but they're also very helpful in just about any situation that we might run across in our daily lives. For example, meditation can give us an antidote to our short-term fragmented attention span and incessant distractions that seem to be getting more and more prevalent in our world today. And it does this by increasing our mental stability and concentration. That's the meditational skill of concentration, which really is not a meditational skill. It's just a skill. Meditation can also help us develop our mindfulness to remain calm or quickly and easily return to calmness in a stressful situation. We have someone in the back of our mind, that is the skill of mindfulness. It's always there to begin to pick up when we get anxious, agitated, distracted, overwhelmed, and then we know what to do. We don't engage, and then we can begin, say, a relaxation, just a quick breathing exercise, or just relaxation, even just being aware of the situation. If you're aware of what's happening, then at least you can do something about it. If you're unaware, what's going to happen? You're going to get carried away in emotion and bad decisions and difficult thoughts. Finally, meditation lets us calmly and clearly examine, understand, and train our minds from within. We saw an example of this with analytical meditation. So by doing this examination, it connects us more deeply to our lives, helping us see things more realistically. And that's kind of a key with this particular tradition. The more realistically you can see things, the better things will turn out. Meditation strengthens our skill of placing and keeping our attention where it serves us best. So that we kind of covered in concentration. But when we do this over time, when we make it, when we strengthen our concentration, and we can appreciate the power of our concentration, when we apply it over time, methodically, it actually makes our life experience more positive and productive. Where we place our attention is what we perceive. Everything else fades into oblivion. And so if we deliberately place our attention best as we can, then we're actually going to change our perception of our lives and hopefully make them more positive and productive. And also, over the long term, we can develop personal qualities we value by practicing meditations that promote these qualities, whether it is compassion or equanimity, like we did before the break. And these will benefit us and all of those around us. Well, that's a quick instruction and hopefully a pep talk for the end of this course. What I'm going to do is I'm going to suggest we just take a quick 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and we'll complete with a couple of meditations. Welcome back, everyone. Now, I think Karen had a question, and she was wondering if this course will be repeated. The answer is yes. It happens every other month, so the first 4 Tuesdays of each month. That means that it's going to start up again in July. I won't be teaching that particular one. I'm not able to, but then I'll start up again and I'll be teaching it in September. And I think the center will determine who's going to take the July course, who's going to teach that. What I'd also say is meditation is kind of it's a big part of traditional Buddhist practice. And so you can go to the TNL website where you got the information for this class, and there's all kinds of meditations going on, almost every day of the week that you can try out and see if you like the meditation teachers. I'm just your lowly meditation facilitator. So there's some very high-level meditation teachers we have at the center who can also help you and do some great meditations. I don't know, does anyone here have any experience and favorite meditators that they just love to like spend a half an hour with in one of the express meditations or something?
I have to go with Venerable Robina.
She's a dynamic personality, isn't she?
And they're really all good. They all have their own different styles, so it's all good. But Robina and Venerable Katie does some different things, and Venerable Dondrip too. So and I don't get to go to all of them because of
So you can try them out, and it's going to depend on how you react to other people.
And Gendon.
And Gendon, of course, So they're all good. Yeah. Okay, so thank you for that question. Let's get going now and go into another meditation. So just again, make yourself comfortable, upright but relaxed. So this meditation is transforming negative experiences into positive. So I don't know about you, but I've got many habitual patterns embedded in my thinking and in my behavior. I guess when I say behavior, it's just almost instinctual sometimes, how you react. What we're going to do in this one, though, transforming negative experiences into positive, is replay our day's actions in our brief meditation session and see if we can transform those habitual patterns from negative to positive. We do that in our imagination, and then hopefully we can gradually change our thinking and behavior long term. And it's the same motivation as we've talked about before, so we can become happier individuals and bring greater happiness and well-being to ourselves and to others through our interactions. And this is kind of an interesting one. I feel like it's deeply related to the equanimity meditation. In our equanimity meditation, we think about these relationship patterns that we already have, whether a person is a friend, an enemy, or just a stranger. But those patterns don't come from nowhere. They come from our interactions or our experiences. So if we have negative experiences with someone, naturally, over time, we're going to, or even just that once, we're going to tag them as enemies. So what this meditation does is it lets us manage those experiences to some extent, either after the fact or even as we gain more familiarity at the time of those interactions, so that we end up, hopefully, with fewer and fewer enemies and more friends. I think that's a pretty cool motivation to have. So begin by calming your mind, just whatever familiar breath meditation that will help keep you relaxed and present, but attentive. Our motivation here is to generate a strong intention to do this meditation in order to train our mind to experience difficulties, the inevitable difficulties of life, to experience them with a calm, clear, and gentle approach. So the actual meditation is this. Just spend a few moments thinking about your day and the experiences that you've had during this day. And see if you can find a difficult situation that may have arisen. Say a situation in which you may have become impatient, frustrated, lost your temper, seen others as problems or enemies, perhaps even lashed out at others verbally. Now, remembering that the situation is over and that you are simply experiencing memories now of something that's gone and is now in the past, bring that difficult situation to mind. Remember what happened from beginning to end. And watch and observe your mind and your behavior as you replay this situation. This can sometimes be difficult, even painful. So use the techniques and abilities of mindfulness that you've learned in order to disidentify with those feelings and actions as much as possible to simply watch and observe dispassionately. Now think about the disadvantages and harmful nature of the negative responses that took place during that situation. Think about how you felt while being impatient and angry. Did you feel happy, comfortable, at peace? When that angry feeling led to angry words and actions, what effect did that have on you? It could even just be angry thoughts, thoughts of frustration, disappointment, impatience. What effect did those thoughts have on you, on others around you? Did it make you happy? Did it make the situation easier? Did the angry behavior help bring the situation to a positive solution? Did it help everyone, yourself and the others included, to feel good and understand each other better? Probably not. Now think about how you might have handled the situation differently. Just think calmly and creatively. Might have handled the situation differently with a calm, balanced, and open attitude, without anger or impatience or resentment. Think about how your and others' experiences of the situation might have been completely different. Generate a strong feeling of how extraordinary it would be to be able to manage difficult situations just like this one with a calm and peaceful mind, uncontrolled by anger and agitation. Now, make a strong determination that the next time you encounter difficulties that try your patience, you'll take a breath and a step back, and will try to respond with openness and patience as you did in your meditation, keeping your mind under control and out of the control of anger. Also, make a strong determination that each time you find yourself responding with impatience, agitation, and anger in the future, you'll practice the same meditation in order to gradually overcome those negative response patterns, those habits, and train the mind to respond with kindness, balance, and patience. That ends the main meditation, and we dedicate the positive energy and insights, anything you might have discovered, any kind of self-knowledge, interesting observations, to your own well-being and the happiness of yourself and all living beings. Well, I would suggest you just, we're going to go right into another meditation. So just stay relaxed. You can squirm around to make yourself more comfortable. You know, if you're having a bit of pain or something like that, just move around a little bit, but we're going to go right into the next meditation. So as soon as you do feel comfortable and settled again, this is our final meditation. It's called the Body of Light meditation. It's a visualization meditation. Again, just return to your relaxation breathing, counting the breaths, or just simply observing the breath. When your mind is calm and clear, we'll create an altruistic motivation. So that's a motivation that will have broad benefit, not just for ourselves, but for others around us. We know that traditionally the thought is that the broader our motivation, the broader our positive motivations, the greater benefit that we'll find in the future for ourselves. Here is the actual meditation. Visualize in the space above your head a sphere of white light, pure, transparent, and formless, maybe a little bit smaller than the size of your head. Just concentrate on the presence of that light. Try and make it real. Maybe you can even imagine you feel warmth from the light. Imagine that it's shining down on you. Don't worry if it doesn't appear sharply. It's just enough to feel it's there. Contemplate that the sphere of light represents all universal goodness, love, and wisdom, and the fulfillment of your own highest potential. Now we visualize it decreasing in size until it's a small, bright sphere about 1 inch in diameter. You can imagine even that the light gets more intense as it shrinks. This small ball of pure white light descends through the top of your head to your heart center. From there, it begins to expand once more, slowly spreading to fill your entire body. As it does, all the solid parts of your body dissolve and become light. Your organs, bones, blood vessels, tissue, and skin all become pure, formless, white light, shining brilliantly. Concentrate on the experience of your body as a body of light. Think that all problems, negativities, and hindrances, illnesses, pain, discomfort have completely vanished, and that you've reached a state of wholeness and perfection. feel serene and joyful. If any thought or distracting object should appear in your mind, let it also dissolve into white light. Well, that completes the main meditation, and just dedicate yourselves however you wish to, just any positive feelings, any kind of self-discovery. Just dedicate it to your own benefit and the benefit of all of those around you. Well, that finishes off tonight's session. I wonder if there's anyone have any final questions or comments?
I can't turn on my video so I can say goodbye.
Oh, I'm sorry. I noticed you were turning off your video. So let me, there you go. I'm asking you to start video. I noticed you were turning off your video there, Doris, and I just wanted you not to have to worry about it.
Thank you.
Of course, yeah. Thank you so much, all of you, for coming to my class. I'm very flattered that you took the time, listen to me go on for a whole 90 minutes. So thank you, and I hope it was a little bit helpful.
I think your whole class is a meditation session. I think it was awesome.
Well, that's great. If there are no more questions, let's just finish off with a dedication. Oh, yeah, okay, of course, Trish, glad to have you. So there's all kinds of stuff going on at the center that everyone can recommend. So if you're looking for more meditations, it's there. This class is given every other month. First 4 Tuesdays of the month at 7. Well, let's wind up with a dedication then. How can we not? So just appreciate and rejoice in all of the positive energy and like your personal insights and experiences and knowledge and learning. Maybe it's something I said, or maybe it's self-discovery. Just think about all of that positive energy that we put together working as a group in this session. So think about those, any particular experience or anything that was helpful. All of this was part of progress that we made together towards the very worthwhile goal of becoming a better person for the benefit of yourself and those around you. Well, I don't know if there's many other more worthwhile goals. That's a pretty good one. So think about that. And then just how you feel, the work that you did for yourself and you did for others. And then just savor that feeling, just that feeling of just like, you know, goodness, pleasure, however you want to characterize that. Savor that feeling and just like really fix that impression and let it sink in. All right, well, have a good evening, everyone.